Hey YouTube, Mikamu here. This is kind of it's not really a segment. It's just me talking about my thoughts on current event. Um, I don't know if you guys know, but Pokemon Prism was canceled 2 days ago. I wanted to cover this as soon as it happened because I follow Coolboy Man on Facebook, his Pokemon Brown and Prism fan page, and the news just broke instantly, and it was kind of a sucker punch. Um, for those of you who don't know, Pokemon Prism is a Pokemon Crystal ROM hack that has a ton of brand new features, a brand new region, brand new Pokemon, brand new effects and abilities. Just a lot of really, really cool gameplay and a lot of features we haven't seen in Pokemon games, especially obviously in a Game Boy Color game. Um, so that happened, and Cool Boy Man didn't get a full cease and desist. Well, I guess it is a cease and desist, but it. So the letter itself is from a law firm in Sydney, Australia, which I just kind of weird. But Cool Boy Man was saying that since his web host is Australian, I guess they went that route in order to kind of produce the cease and desist. Because essentially a letter to his web host saying these files can't be hosted here anymore, and they forwarded it to him. So, as for the letter itself, a lot of people are saying it's fake. Maybe it's denial out of the fans' part, but there are kind of weird typos or incongruencies. Like in Facebook is misspelled. It's like typed as in capital F, capital B. It's just Facebook is one word. It's not two separate words. Face and capital book. I know it's nitpicking, but it kind of shows a degree of unprofessionalism if there's kind of weird stuff like that. The word trademark was spelled as in trade and mark. It's two separate words. As far as I'm aware, trademark is one word. But I mean, maybe it's Australian English. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. So regardless of if the letter is real or not, though, Cool Boy Man is obviously freaked out, and he legitimately has a right to stop production and close shop. I mean, it's his hide on the line if the game is if he's sued over the game or whatnot. I don't know how serious Nintendo is about suing these people, but I mean, as creators, it's pretty obvious that if you get this cease and desist or a letter from a representative claiming to be from Nintendo, knocking at your door, and your identity is tied to it, even if it's just an online identity. But in some cases, some of these creators they have their actual names associated with the projects. You have every right, and I would recommend to just close shop. I mean that makes sense. Um, as for how I feel, I've been looking forward to Prism since I was since I heard about the project. I've been following Cool Boy Man since I was in fifth grade. So, and I'm an adult now. So it's like it's kind of surreal, but at the same time, this seems to be the direction that Nintendo is going. Um, I've never seen Nintendo take down ROM hacks before. That's one thing that's new about this. Normally, it's fan games, usually made with third-party engines like Unity or Game Maker or whatever. Um, but I've never seen actual modding and ROM hacks kind of be openly discouraged. But in terms of, I mean, people were thinking there's some sort of distinction between ROM hacking and fan games. I think from Nintendo's point of view, it's just their IP is being used and they don't like that. And to tell you the truth, historically, there's just precedent for Nintendo doing this kind of stuff. When you look at Nintendo as a company, um, while the hardware is innovative and while their gameplay is innovative, they are very conservative in reacting to technological advances. Gaming historian is a great channel. He has a video talking about Nintendo and Blockbuster. Back in the 80s, Blockbuster first allowed consumers to play video games by renting them ahead of time. Nintendo didn't like that. They sued Blockbuster. The lawsuit, the reasoning behind the lawsuit was kind of weird. They were suing they're suing Blockbuster for not having the original like instruction manual in the game package or something. It was basically a way for them to get their foot in the door for suing Blockbuster for disrupting a business model. Right? People had to pay $60 a pop for a game they didn't know they would like. And here Blockbuster came along and offered consumers a way to demo games. And Nintendo wasn't going to do that. There was no technology to allow them to allow demos of games. And, you know, this empowered consumers, and Nintendo didn't like that. I mean, obviously it's water under the bridge now. I mean, Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore, but it just goes to show you, like, even back in the day when Nintendo was, a young gaming company, its eyes were very much so and oriented in this kind of way. And you look at recently, back in 2012, 2013, when Nintendo started responding to Let's Plays, other companies, kind of warmed up to them. Nintendo's like, they shut that down. They were trying to profit off of a lot of content creators. I mean, the attitude nowadays, a lot of people is either you do Nintendo games when you have to, unless you're, I guess, a Nintendo specializer or whatever, or you avoid them entirely. I mean, now Nintendo has their content creator program, um, which they allow you to make money off your channel. Like, ooh, they're doing you a favor. A lot of developers allow you to make money off of Let's Plays, and in some cases the ad revenue is not substantial, but I mean it's obviously up to the content creators to decide, not the content creators, not the YouTube content creators. I'm talking about the actual developers to decide how their IPs are used. But I'm saying, look at everyone else's responses. They're lukewarm to even positive. Nintendo's response is negative. It's conservative. It's backwards. It's also just antithetical to the medium. This is what So their reaction to technology, or to the medium changes technology provides, has always historically been kind of bad and backwards. I mean, I don't know what other way to put it. And so to think that ROM hacking is somehow immune from this, and maybe this is our wake up call, just to say that, to say the least. I don't know what that means for Let's Plays of ROM hacks. Cause, I mean, my entire arsenal, if you know my series, which is the Nostalgia Vault, is entirely consisting of fan games and ROM hacks, mostly. Some older games that are actual games. But so, I mean, I don't know. I think in a lot of cases, I don't know if this is the case, but this could be, sort of like protection by obscurity. Maybe by being off the radar, maybe none of us will get penalized. Because it was only until Cool Boy Man started making trailers and promoting the product. I don't want to say product because he didn't make money off of it. Just to clarify, most of these fan game makers and ROM hackers don't do this for profit. So most of these people aren't making money off it. It's not a product, but it's a production, a free production essentially. Um, and I think maybe we were only safe because we were being obscure. Now with Internet 2.0, things are moving faster. More stuff gets out quickly. It's more transparent. Because back in 05, 08, whatever ROM hacks were coming out, no one, people weren't on Nintendo's radar. Not as much. I mean, there's fan games that were, but not as much. Not as much. So Nintendo just has a long history of killing fan projects, and they have a long history of being very protective of their IPs. And that just seems to be like where they're at. That's where their headspace is. A lot of people are saying it's for the money. I mean, I think that's part of it. I would think that they'd be aware that this is for more or less free advertising. Given that most of their core demographic probably doesn't even consume ROM hacks, and the ones who do aren't going to be prone to not buying Nintendo products because I mean, Prism doesn't trade. Prism's not a trade-off between playing, this ROM hack and Pokemon Sun and Moon. If I want to play Sun and Moon, I can still play Prism. Like, they're not the same. They're not comparable at all. It doesn't make any sense. It's essentially free advertising. But the other thing I'm aware of, and I think this is a big deal, Nintendo is extremely controlling. So in addition to their history of being, anti, or copyright Nazis, I don't want to use that word, but I was trying to say something off the tip of my tongue, and that's the first word that came up. Sorry, guys. So in addition to being hard asses about copyright, they are very, very, very controlling about how their IPs are kind of displayed. So I don't know if you've seen the movie Wreck-It Ralph. In Wreck-It Ralph, Bowser is in the movie. He's in a cameo. There's a villains anonymous meeting, and Nintendo actually was really, really demanding about how Bowser held a teacup in the meeting. Like, Bowser's whole cameo in that scene is he's holding a teacup and drinking and kind of being posh. It's a joke in the scene, and apparently Nintendo had say in every frame that Bowser was in. So that's the level of control we're talking about. So if they are being anal about how Bowser is drinking tea, which is not something he's known for, I know in the movies also Sega was very specific about how Sonic lost his rings, but that's actually a gameplay mechanic, so I can understand why they would be about that. Whereas Bowser drinking tea is not core to his character, so the way he's sipping tea being being controlling over that kind of asset, if they're being anal about that, then imagine what having a fan game. Imagine what having a fan game where you have no control over any aspect of production and any way your IPs are being used. So that must infuriate them, right? So that's probably one of the biggest reasons. Um, as for the money, I mean, maybe they do feel monetarily threatened by fan creators. I mean, I would hope not, because I mean, I would hope they see that fan games are free promotion. Essentially, they are labors of love that are free promotion. And this is the rub. This is the big deal, right? So if you keep alienating creators who are essentially, a lot of people got into development, coding because they like certain games and they want to replicate them. They want to, maybe add new features to a Mario game or something. They want to make a Mario game that's never been done before. So if you alienate people who are not, who are not causing you harm, right? You're gonna cause people to go into game development and make new IPs that will actually compete with Nintendo for their money. So, say if I'm a young developer, I wanted to make a Mario game where Mario can, like shoot fire from his butt or whatever. I mean, it's a bad example, but just to say, it's really my, my honest intent, and then I learn about all these takedowns. Nintendo's all hammer and gavel about fan game production. It's like, oh shit, why don't I just make my own platforming game that is similar to Mario with my own assets? Then then sell it for money. I mean, so that's when you actually will get people cutting into your revenue, because now they're making a product that is going to be rivaling or competing with your product. Before, you had someone essentially giving you free publicity by creating a game that, one, doesn't take away from your bottom line, and two, me playing a fan game does not take away from my ability to buy other other games. So I don't know if Nintendo understands that. I don't know if that's sort of not where their headspace is. Just give you an example. Undertale is Toby Fox's game. Undertale, the indie darling, was a lot of the ideas came from his earlier work. It was a Earthbound ROM hack called the Earthbound Halloween Edition. It's also on Zophar's domain, where I found Pokemon Brown back in the day. Um, and this hack was his attempt to learn, how to code, how to program, whatnot. And a lot of the ideas in this Earthbound ROM hack were in Undertale. Imagine if I were a Nintendo scout and I saw, Earthbound Halloween Edition. I could be like Nintendo is in real life and been hammer and gavel and say, you can't do that. No, no, no. Or imagine if I said, wow, Toby, this is amazing. Why don't you come work for us? Toby would have produced, another Earthbound game or Undertale under Nintendo's tutelage, and Nintendo could have been a part of one of the biggest indie, gaming franchises in history. I mean, it's sort of this kind of thinking that will actually promote your brand, by using the talents of your fans who will work for you for free. I'm not saying you should exploit them. I mean, I'm just saying though, like if they're doing all this for free and it's garnering this much attention, you would think you could harness that into actual profitability instead of just saying no, no, no. Because again, these games are not competing with Nintendo's bottom line. I mean, they're just not competing. The markets that Nintendo's are in, it's not the same. It's not. They're not one to one. Is what I'm trying to say. But I'm probably preaching the choir here. Um, I mean, it's pretty much my thoughts on the matter. As for Pokemon Prism, I think, and I'm not sure, don't quote me on this because I don't want to go to jail too. Um, Someone might have leaked something. I don't know who did. I don't know what it is. I think there was an earlier version that was leaked, not the one that was a demo, because I know he's had a demo up for years. It was like a version 0.41 or something. I think someone leaked like a build that's near completion. I don't know where it is. I don't know what it is. I would just say, there are ROM hacking communities. You should go there and ask the people there if you've heard of it, if you really want to play Prism. Um, as for me and my channel, I don't think I will be doing it. I don't think I'll be doing Prism, just out of respect for Cool Boy Man. Until, at least until the dust settles, maybe like 10, 20 years down the line when no one gives a shit, But I'm going to probably just keep playing Pokemon Brown. Oh, actually, you know what? Shit. I think I have a Twitch channel now. Maybe I'll stream Pokemon Brown before the year ends, because I think the letter that Cool Boy Man got said, cease activity related to Pokemon Brown, like, and then, like, maybe I think it was towards the end of the year. Um, just out of respect. I don't think they'll come after me, but I'm just saying, like it's stupid, but you never know. No, as for I think one more point I want to add, as for where Nintendo is going with this, I think that a lot of creators will be safe if they can kind of remain low key. I mean, I think that's the key thing. But as for the direction of the company itself, if you've been paying attention in the last year, Nintendo has been licensing their content. So, like for example, Yogurtland in America, in the summer had like a month of Mario or something. So there were Mushroom Kingdom related flavors that you could buy, and pastry treats and whatnot you could buy with your yogurt. Um, and then they also licensed their content to Vans. There's also the Super Nintendo theme park. I think that's coming in 2021 or 2020 in Japan. I think. So you can see, and there might be a movie in the works for Zelda. I think, I'm not sure. Someone was talking about a Netflix series or something. But anyway, I mean, you can see the direction. So Nintendo's now kind of like, kind of unleashing their IPs outside of their hardware, which I think is it's great. It shows that the company is being less conservative, as I was saying before, about how they use their IPs. Before they were just like, no, it's only a video game. You can only use it here in the context. Like so. In one way, it shows that Nintendo was opening up, but in another way, say if they're kind of going to be maybe even more controlling about how fans use their IP, because they're like, oh, okay, well, if a fan makes a game, it's going to be diminishing how Universal Studios can use our IP. Maybe I don't know. I'm just throwing this out loud. Maybe if they're partnering up with other people, maybe they're going to even be more controlling how fans use their IP. So while we might see more Nintendo related stuff on just TV and media in general, we might see less of it from fans because Nintendo might become even more hard ass about how Bowser sips tea in a fan maker's video game. I don't know. I mean, this is my thoughts. I'm just throwing this out here. Anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think in the comments below, if anyone's watching this, and I'll see you guys later.